Welcome back, listeners, to Movie Readings. Total Recall from 1990 is one of my favorite action movies. It's got everything: romance, excitement, but perhaps most exciting of all is people are still debating to this day whether it was all a dream. As always, drop a comment with the next movie reading you'd like to hear. If you'd like to help the YouTube algorithm, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We find ourselves on the surface of Mars, a red rock desert. A vacant, epic expanse of glowing crimson. Two moons rise into frame, floating over the jagged peaks of distant mountains. We are panning down to the endless red plains of Mars. Two people in spacesuits walk across the Mars surface, down a slope, across a flat area, and up onto a small ridge. They stand and look out over the Mars landscape. They reach for each other's hand and look at each other. I love you. I love you. Then they hug each other and walk off. Quaid walks from the precipice down a gradual slope. The ground gives way underneath him. He falls. His visor hits a rock. A small crack spreads and the visor blows out. Quaid starts to decompress. Shh. His breath is drawn out. His face puffs up. Veins stand out in his skin. His eyes bulge. His tongue protrudes. His nose and eyelids bleed. The woman rushes to him. She kneels down over him. They clasp hands, and his eyes are about to explode. Quaid wakes up in bed, sweaty and panting. A beautiful woman wakes up next to him. She's not the brunette from before, but a stunning blonde Amazon named Lori. Doug, are you all right? He's still disoriented. You were dreaming, it's okay. Quaid starts to come back to reality. Lori presses a button and opaque walls dissolve into transparent windows. White light gradually fills the dark room, and the city becomes visible outside. Was it about Mars? Quaid nods, troubled. Lori wipes the sweat from his brow. Is that better? Poor baby. This is getting to be an obsession. Lori caresses him, comforting, then erotic. Her lips dwell on his muscular chest. He starts to relax. Nonchalantly. Was she there? Amused, Quaid plays dumb. Who? The brunette, the one you told me about. Lori, I don't believe it. You're jealous of a dream? Lori punches Quaid in the stomach, and they wrestle playfully but rough. Who is she? Nobody. Nobody? Down onto him. What's her name? I don't know. Tell me! Lori straddles Quaid, and he laughs so hard he can't defend himself. It's not funny, Doug. You dream about her every night. But I'm always home by morning. Quaid grabs Lori's wrists and immobilizes her in the infamous pretzel grip. Let me go! Aw, come on, baby. You're the girl of my dreams. She stops, resisting. You mean it? You know I do. Quaid lets her go, and Lori entwines him in her long athletic legs. I'll give you something to dream about. Two large bananas are liquefied as they pass through a juicer into a half-gallon pitcher. Dressed for heavy construction work, Quaid makes the power shake to end all power shakes. He grinds up fruit, vegetables, wheat germ, leftovers, several kinds of different powders. He pours in a dozen shelled eggs, glub, 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 all from a carton. Then he mixes it all together in a 40-horsepower blender. Ree! Meanwhile, the news drones in the background. On the war front, Northern Bloc satellites incinerated a shipyard in Bombay, started a fire that swept throughout the city. Civilian casualties are estimated to exceed 10,000. The chairman defended the attack, calling space-based weapons the only effective defense against the Southern Bloc's numerical superiority. Quaid gulps down his breakfast directly from his jumbo pitcher and walks over to the flat, wall-sized, high-definition television. And more violence last night on Mars. Quaid lowers the pitcher, watches with attention, and walks over to the table. On TV, firefighters put out a blaze at a mine as armored soldiers brutally beat back a crowd of miners. The mine is enclosed under a glass dome, where terrorists demanding independence once again halted extraction of turbinium ore. Lori comes out of the bathroom and walks behind Quaid to the kitchen. She tensely watches the news as she makes her breakfast. In a small corner of the television screen, we see a still photo of Vilos Kohagen, a middle-aged man of commanding presence and obvious intelligence. With one mine already closed, Mars Administrator Vilos Kohagen vowed that the troops would be used, if necessary, to keep production at full capacity. At the press conference, he emphasized that as the insert of Kohagen expands to fill the screen, Lori presses the remote control. Bonk. The TV screen transforms into an environmental window that looks out onto a virgin forest. No wonder you have nightmares. You're always watching the news. Quaid and Lori sit down and eat breakfast. Lori? Yeah, sweetheart? Let's do it. Do what? Move to Mars. She stops buttering the bread. Honey, do you have to spoil a perfectly good morning? Just think about it. Exasperated but sweet. Sweetheart, we've been through this a million times. You'd hate it on Mars. It's dry, it's ugly, it's boring. I mean, really, a revolution could break out there any minute. Kohagen says it's just a few extremists. Do you believe him? All right, forget it. Quaid clicks on the remote control. The forest primeval is replaced by a press conference on the television. Do you want to give them independence? Absolutely not. Mars was colonized by the Northern Bloc at enormous expense. Our entire war effort depends on their turbinium. Lori straddles Quaid seductively, obscuring his view. Doug, maybe we should make a trip. Lori, move. There's nicer places than Mars. And it's ridiculous to think we're going to give it away just because a bunch of lazy mutants think they own the planet. What about Saturn? Don't you want to see Saturn? Everyone says it's gorgeous. Quaid stretches to see around Lori. She playfully leans with him. Any comments, sir, on the rumor that you closed the pyramid mine because you found alien artifacts inside? Kohagen and all the reporters chuckle. We could take one of those long space cruises, the kind with nothing to do. Lori traps him into a long kiss. Pat, I wish we could find some nice alien artifacts. Our tourist industry could use a boost. But the fact is, it's Mr. Kuato and his terrorists who spread these rumors to undermine trust in the government. Back to the studio. That's it for the news. Stay tuned for Christine and the weather. But first, this. A commercial for American Express. Don't leave Earth without it. Lori finally ends the kiss. Well, what do you say? I'm late. Quaid trudges to the door, discouraged. Concerned, Lori catches him before he can leave. Sweetheart, I know it's hard in a new town, but let's at least give it a chance here, okay? Lori, don't you understand? I feel I was meant for something more than this. I want to do something with my life. I want to be somebody. Lori strokes his cheek and looks into his eyes adoringly. You are somebody. You're the man I love. Bye. Quaid hugs Lori hard, grateful for her love and support, but he is still somehow unsatisfied. They kiss goodbye, and Lori watches him head down the hallway to work. Have a nice day. Quaid joins the bustling crowd of school children and commuters, who scurry like ants in all directions through the central plaza or transportation hub of this futuristic community. Quaid follows signs down to the subway. Commuters file past wall-sized panels. On the other side, guards screen them for concealed weapons. We pan with Quaid as he approaches the checkpoint. Behind the X-ray panel, as Quaid passes behind the X-ray panel, he and the other commuters become walking skeletons. A few steps later, The skeletons emerge from behind the screen, opaque human beings once again. In a crowd, Quaid moves forward, one sardine among many, and boards a subway car. The doors close behind him, and Quaid walks to the side where TV commercials play on a row of flat monitors. On TV, a cabbie in an old-fashioned checkered cap turns to the back seat and addresses the camera. "Thanks for taking Johnny Cab. I hope you enjoy the ride." This commercial ends and the next one begins. A happy fellow lies next to a sex pot on a round table. The bedroom is under a glass dome at the bottom of the ocean. Outside, colorful fish swim around. Do you ever dream of a vacation at the bottom of the ocean? We jump cut. The fellow now appears in a poverty-level apartment, alone, surrounded by a pile of bills. "But you can't float the bill?" A sophisticated woman skis to a stop next to a flock of penguins. "Would you like to ski Antarctica?" We jump cut to the same woman now in an office, surrounded by 10 employees, all demanding decisions. "But you're snowed under with work?" A sportsman in a spacesuit climbs up the pyramidal mountain from Quaid's dream. "Have you always wanted to climb the mountains of Mars?" The sportsman is now an old lady creeping up a staircase. "And now you're over the hill. Then come to Recall, Incorporated." Rapid pullback to the face of Dr. Edgemar, a professional gentleman. He is the narrator we've been hearing. "Where you can buy the memory of your ideal vacation, cheaper, safer, and better than the real thing." We discover Dr. Edgemar on a beach at sunset. He walks over to a Recall implant chair, floating over the water, and sits down. "So don't let life pass you by. Call Recall for the memory of a lifetime." And then the jingle plays. "Recall." As a chorus of silence chant dreamily on, Dr. Edgemar opens his cupped hand. A butterfly flutters out. We superimpose the Recall logo and a 12-digit phone number. Quaid is intrigued. Grrr. Futuristic drill hammers grind the concrete surface to bits. Quaid's taut muscles glisten with sweat as he and several workers excavate a rocky building site. The others struggle to control the powerful tool, but Quaid wields his drill hammer like an artist, working twice as fast with half the effort. Quaid shouts at Harry, a middle-aged buddy with a beer belly, likable face, and Brooklyn accent. "Hey, Harry, you ever heard of Recall?" "Recall? They sell fake memories." "Oh, Recall. Yeah, Recall." He stops drilling. "You thinking of going there?" Quaid also takes a break, leaning on his drill hammer, which hisses in neutral. "I don't know, maybe." "Well, don't." Quaid is surprised, even challenged by the intensity of Harry's reaction. "Why not?" "A friend of mine tried one of their special offers, nearly got himself lobotomized." "No shit. Don't fuck with your brain, pal. It ain't worth it." Harry and Quaid rev up their hammers. "I guess you're right." They resume drilling. Quaid walks through an almost desolate plaza and enters through the glass doors. He walks to the console in the center of the floor. We go close on a computer directory as Quaid selects Recall Inc. from a long list of names. The screen displays the location and personnel. We go close on a young woman's hands. A white stylus touches each fingernail. Red pigment instantly saturates the entire surface. We rack focus to Quaid, who enters in the background. "Hello." Tiffany, a bored, ornamental receptionist, hides her paraphernalia and greets Quaid. She sits in front of a Recall logo. Big smile. "Good afternoon, welcome to Recall." "Douglas Quaid, I have an appointment." Tiffany checks a schedule and finds his name. "Okay, just a moment, Mr. Quaid." "Thank you." Tiffany speaks to a salesman on the video intercom. We see him on the screen. Bob, Douglas Quaid is here to see you. Listens and then hangs up. It'll be just a minute. Thank you. Quaid ambles around the room, perusing video travel posters for imaginary vacations. Tiffany watches him with interest. A moment later, Bob McLean enters. He's a former high school jock. Doug. Bob McLean. Nice to meet you. Good to see you. Right this way. McLean shakes Quaid's hand and leads him away. Meanwhile, Tiffany diffidently changes the color of her fingernails again with a touch of the stylus. McLean ushers Quaid into the stylishly decorated room. Have a seat, sit down, make yourself comfortable. Quaid lowers himself into a sleek, futuristic chair. McLean sits behind his desk. Now, help me out here, Doug. You were interested in the memory of Mars. Right, Mars. Is that a problem? To be perfectly honest with you, Doug, if outer space is your thing, I think you'd be much happier with one of our Saturn cruises. Everybody raves about them. I'm not interested in Saturn. I said Mars. Okay, you're the boss. Mars it is. McLean types on his computer keyboard and figures come up on his screen. Let's see, the basic Mars package will run you 899 credits. That's for 2 full weeks of memories, complete in every detail. A longer trip will run you more, because you need a deeper implant. What's in the 2-week package? First of all, Doug, when you go to recall, you'll get nothing but first-class memories. Private cabin on the shuttle, deluxe suite at the Hilton, plus all the major sites, Mount Pyramid, the Great Canals, and of course, Venusville. How real does it seem? As real as any memory in your head. Come on, don't bullshit me. I'm telling you, Doug, your brain won't know the difference. Guaranteed, or your money back. What about the guy you lobotomized? Did he get a refund? You're talking about ancient history, Doug. Nowadays, traveling with recall is safer than getting on a rocket. Look at the statistics. Numbers and graphs appear on the monitor. Besides, a real holiday's a big pain in the butt. Lost luggage, lousy weather, crooked taxi drivers. When you go with recall, everything is perfect. So what do you say? Quaid ponders his decision. All right. Smart move. He types. Now, while you fill out the questionnaire, I'll familiarize you with some of our options. No options. Whatever you say, just answer one question. What is it that is exactly the same about every vacation you have ever taken? Quaid fills out the questionnaire on his video screen. I give up. You're the same. No matter where you go, there you are. Always the same old you. He grins. Let me suggest that you take a vacation from yourself. I know it sounds wild, but it's the latest thing in travel. We call it an ego trip. I'm not interested in that. You're gonna love this. We offer you a choice of alternate identities during your trip. McLean preempts Quaid's questionnaire in the video monitor with a close-up. Millionaire playboy, sports hero, industrial tycoon, secret agent. Face it, why go to Mars as a tourist when you can go as a playboy, or a famous jock, or secret agent? How much is it? Let me tantalize you. You're a top operative, back under deep cover on your most important mission. People are trying to kill you left and right. You meet the most beautiful, exotic woman. McLean interrupts himself. Go on. I don't want to spoil it for you, Doug, but rest assured, by the time the trip is over, you get the girl, you kill the bad guys, and you save the entire planet. He smiles confidently. Now you tell me, is that worth 300 measly credits? Quaid smiles reluctantly. McLean has got him hooked. Quaid sits in a dentist's chair in an office, which is a cross between an operating room and a sound mixing booth. An IV tube is connected to the back of his hand, and he wears a green surgical smock over his street clothes. Ernie, a hyperactive young technician, he lowers over Quaid's head a burnished metal bowl at the end of an elbow arm. He has the air of an acid head who's still out there. Just relax. First trip? Mm-hmm. Ernie carefully aligns the complex scientific instrument and locks it in place. Don't worry, things hardly ever fuck up. The door opens, and a bird-like middle-aged woman enters in a stylish pantsuit. Dr. Lull is too skinny, and her hair is too red. She treats Quaid with impersonal conviviality. Good evening. She checks the video chart. Doug, I'm Dr. Lull. Nice to meet you. Dr. Lull flips through Quaid's computer chart. Ernie, patch in matrix 62B37 and... looks at Quaid. Would you like us to integrate some alien stuff? In quick succession, Dr. Lull runs through a series of graphics on a computer screen representing memory trip cassette covers. We see pictures of slimy green Martians. Two-headed monsters? Don't you keep up with the news? We're doing alien artifacts now. Dr. Lull and Quaid share a facetious smile. Sure, why not? The latest graphic appears on the screen, a sophisticated archaeological dig inside a red cave. Dr. Lull crosses the room to get another laser disc. She tosses it to Ernie, who examines the cover art with interest before plunging it in. That's a new one. Dr. Lull fastens straps over Quaid to hold him in place and makes perfunctory conversation. So, been married long? 8 years. I see, slipping away for a little hanky-panky. Not really. I've always just been fascinated by Mars. All systems go. Dr. Lull fastens the last strap. Then we're all set. Ready for your dreamland? Quaid nods and Dr. Lull shoots him in the neck with a medicine gun. I'll be asking you a few questions, Doug, as we fine-tune the ego program. Answer honestly, and you'll enjoy yourself a whole lot more. Quaid begins to feel the effects of the anesthetic. Dr. Lull checks his vital signs. Your sexual orientation? Hetero. Flips a switch. How do you like your women? Quaid looks drowsily at a schematic female outline on a computer screen. With each decision, the computer image adjusts to correspond to Quaid's taste. Blonde, brunette, or redhead? Brunette. Slim, athletic, voluptuous? The schematic figures fill out, her breasts expanding to enormous size. Athletic. The computer figure returns to more normal proportions. Demure, aggressive, sleazy? Be honest. Sleazy. And demure. Dr. Lull with certainty. 41A, Ernie. Ernie inserts cassette 41A into his console. The computer image seems very similar to the woman in Quaid's dream. Boy, is he going to have a wild time. He won't want to come back. McLean is talking with another prospective client in his office, a splinterish middle-aged woman, Miss Lonelyhearts. So, what do you say? I'm not so sure. But there won't be any souvenirs. Not true. For just a few credits more, we supply t-shirts, snapshots of you at the sites, and letters from the handsome men you'll meet. The video phone rings, and Dr. Lull appears on his screen. Bob? What is it? You better get down here. McLean rolls his eyes, as if in league with the customer against the company. I'm with a very important client. Looks like another schizoid embolism. Miss Lonelyhearts is scandalized. McLean stands and attempts a reassuring smile. I'll be right back. Mr. McLean, Mr. McLean! Bob, what's wrong? Don't let her leave. McLean strides into the memory studio ready to kick ass, but he pulls up short at what he sees and hears. Quaid shouts and thrashes about in the chair, violently struggling to break the straps that hold him down. He's like a different person, a caged animal. You're dead, all of you! You blew my cover! Terrified, Dr. Lull and Ernie keep a safe distance from Quaid. McLean is merely aggravated. What the fuck is going on here? You can't install a simple goddamn double implant? It's not my fault. We hit a memory cap. They'll be here any minute. They'll kill you all. What is he talking about? Let me go! McLean walks up to Quaid and examines his eyes. Mr. Quaid, try and calm down. Quaid breaks the strap holding his right arm and grabs McLean by the throat. Quietly menacing, My name is not Quaid. McLean, choking, tries to pry Quaid's hand from his neck, but he can't loosen the iron grip. Untie me. Ernie rushes over and unsuccessfully tries to wrestle Quaid's arm down using his full body weight. McLean's eyes are bulging. Dr. Lull frantically jabs a syringe gun into his thigh and fires dose after dose until Quaid's grip weakens and he passes out. McLean falls to the ground, gagging. Dr. Lull goes over to help him. Are you all right? McLean shoves her away and gasps for breath. Listen to me. He's been going on and on about Mars. He's really been there. McLean, raspy. Use your head, you dumb bitch. He's acting out the secret agent role from his ego trip. I'm afraid that's not possible. Why not? We haven't implanted it yet. McLean falls silent. Suddenly he's terrified. Oh shit, oh shit. I've been trying to tell you. Someone erased his memory. Excuse me? Someone? We're talking the fucking agency. Shut up. Bob, the client's gone. Whack! Dr. Lull slaps Ernie across the face. Her violent act shocks everyone into silence, including herself. McLean tries to think. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Renata, cover up any memory he has of us or recall. I'll do what I can. It's getting messy in there. Ernie, dump him in a cab around the corner. Tiffany, you help him. I'll destroy his file and refund his money. If anyone comes asking, we've never heard of Douglas Quaid. Come on, put his head in place. They look at Quaid, sprawled unconscious in the chair. Quaid, befuddles in a taxicab, slowly comes to his senses in the back seat. It's pouring rain. Where am I? You're in a Johnny cab. I mean, what am I doing here? Through the windshield, we see that the cabbie is a smiling robotic mannequin in old-fashioned cabbie uniform. His vehicle is a Johnny cab, the automated checker cab of the future. I'm sorry, would you please rephrase the question? Impatient, he enunciates. How did I get in this taxi? The door opened, you got in. The Johnny cab drives up to the Commons. Quaid exits the Johnny cab. Thanks for taking Johnny cab. I hope you enjoyed the ride. Still woozy, he staggers down a covered walkway out of the pouring rain. Harry, his buddy from work, approaches him. Hey, Quaid! Harry? He claps Quaid on the shoulder. How was your trip to Mars? Harry walks with Quaid toward the security gate leading to his apartment complex. What trip? You went to recall, remember? I did? Yeah, you did. And I told you not to, but you did anyway. What are you, my father? Let me buy you a drink. No, Harry, I'm already late. See you tomorrow. Suddenly, 3 large men grab Quaid and rush him back downstairs to Harry, who draws a gun. Hey! Quaid starts to put up a fight. Harry and the agents march Quaid along an interior corridor. Harry, what the hell is this? Come on, let's go have a drink. What the fuck did I do wrong? Tell me. You blabbed, Quaid. You blabbed about Mars. Are you crazy? I don't know anything about Mars. The goons throw Quaid against a wall and twist his arms behind his back. You should have listened to me, Quaid. I was there to keep you out of trouble. Harry, you're making a big mistake. You've got me mixed up with somebody else. Pal. You got yourself mixed up with somebody else. Harry starts to pull the trigger. Quaid kicks with both legs, one to Harry and one to the other goon facing him. Then he throws the goons holding him against the wall and cracks their heads together before throwing them aside. He kicks Harry's gun out of his hand. Son of a bitch. Quaid kicks the goon to his right in the stomach and then knees him in the face. He karate chops the goon to his left. Then he steps forward onto Harry's neck. Harry reaches up and Quaid grabs his arm and cracks his neck by pulling up. The kicked goon attacks Quaid by grabbing his neck. Quaid gains the advantage and cracks the goon's neck. Then he steps toward the karate chop goon who is attacking with Harry's gun. Quaid wrestles the gun from him and shoots him in the back. He drops him and shoots the last goon and runs away. Laurie adjusts the hollow console in Quaid's living room. The image of a female tennis player pops up and executes a perfect swing. Laurie walks to the hologram and gets inside. She imitates the movements of the hollow model, making minor adjustments to her form until they are completely in sync. Bingo! The hologram glows bright red and colors the room. The front door flies open and Quaid enters breathless. "Hi, honey." Quaid darts around the apartment and crouches below window level, turning off every light in the place. "What are you doing?" "Some men just tried to kill me." Quaid turns a switch at the hollow console and bzzz, the hologram disappears. Laurie stands there alarmed as Quaid keeps turning off the lights. "Muggers? Doug, are you all right? What happened?" "No, spies or something. And Harry from work. Get down." Laurie has stepped in front of a window. Quaid drags her to the floor. "Harry from work. He was the boss." "Take it easy. Tell me exactly what happened. Why would spies want to kill you?" "I don't know. It had something to do with Mars." "Mars? You've never been to Mars." "I know it sounds crazy, but I went to this recall place after work and—" "You went to those brain butchers?" "Let me finish." "What did they do to you? Tell me." "I got a trip to Mars." "Oh God, Doug. Forget recall, will you? These men were going to kill me." "Doug, nobody tried to kill you." "They did, but I killed them." Laurie tries to lead Quaid to the sofa. "Sweetheart, listen to me. Those assholes at recall have fucked up your mind. You're having paranoid delusions." Quaid holds up his hands, which are covered in blood. "You call this a paranoid delusion?" "Doug." Laurie is stunned. She doesn't know whether to be afraid for Quaid or of him. "Doug, I'm calling a doctor." He dashes to the bathroom, keeping low. Upset, Laurie makes a video call. Don't call anybody." An imposing man appears on the video screen. The man named Richter, live feed. "Hello? How can I help?" Quaid shuts the door to the bathroom. He looks at himself in the mirror. He twists the faucet and washes the blood off his hands. Quaid splashes water on his face, takes a deep breath and dries off. Then he opens the bathroom door. Tracer bullets rip into the dark bathroom, smashing the mirror, walls, and fixtures. The photograph on the dresser explodes. Quaid dives forward and scrambles into the living area, which is also in total darkness. "Laurie, run!" Quaid hides behind the bar and peeks over the edge. Bullets shatter bottles and glasses all around him. He creeps around the bar and jumps toward the far wall. His assailant fires and looks for him with a flashlight. Quaid lands behind the dining table and goes for the chair right next to the display shelves. As his assailant fires again, Quaid throws a chair and runs after it to attack the assailant. Their fighting silhouettes are visible against the window. A gun skitters across the floor. We hear a few meaty thuds and then a painful grunt, as someone's breath whooshes out. A light comes on, and Quaid is standing there with one hand on the lamp switch and the other arm circling Laurie's neck in a chokehold. Quaid is astonished and devastated. "Laurie!" Laurie elbows him in the ribs and hits him in the balls. Then she punches him in the face. She then continues her assault, pushing him backwards along the kitchen counter. Quaid merely defends himself, unwilling to strike his wife. Under this handicap, he absorbs savage blows that would kill a lesser man. As Lori winds up for the coup de grace, he throws her over the counter. She flies all the way to the kitchen, where she lies dazed. Quaid recovers his breath. "Lori, why are you doing this?" Lori grabs a carving knife from the wall and charges Quaid. He tumbles away just in time, but she pursues him, doing her best to slice him open. He disarms her, and Lori still tries to grab the gun on the floor. Quaid gets to it first and holds the gun to her head. Lori remains stubbornly silent. Crazed, Quaid shoves the gun barrel in her ear. "Now talk!" "I said talk!" "I'm not your wife." "The hell you're not." "I swear to God, I never saw you before 6 weeks ago. Our marriage is just a memory implant." "Ah! You think I'm an idiot? Remember our wedding? It was implanted by the agency. And falling in love? Implanted. Our friends, my job. 8 years together. I suppose all this was implanted too?" "The job is real, but the agency set it up." "Bullshit." Quaid pushes Lori away, but keeps his gun trained on her. "They erased your identity and implanted a new one. I was written in as your wife so I could watch you and make sure the erasure took. Sorry, Quaid, your whole life is just a dream." Quaid tries to defend his sanity with an air of sarcasm. "Okay, if not me, then who the hell am I? Beats me. I just work here." Quaid sits in a chair and rubs his forehead, trying to decide what to do and how to react. Lori is suddenly sweet and intimate. "But Doug, there's something I want you to know. You're the best assignment I ever had. Really." "I'm honored." "You sure you don't wanna? For old time's sake? If you don't trust me, you can tie me up." "I didn't know you were so kinky." "It's time you found out." Quaid catches Lori glancing at a video monitor which displays the lobby of the apartment building. Agents enter. The leader is Richter, the doctor, Lori called. He radiates malevolence with a dark intensity. His equally vicious partner is Helm. Quaid glares at Lori and holds the gun to her head. "Clever girl. Doug, you won't shoot me, would you? After all we've been through?" "Yeah, some of it was fun." Lori leans seductively towards Quaid, expecting a caress. Instead, he knocks her out with the gun. "Nice knowing you." Quaid stands and runs to the door. Quaid races down the hallway and runs downstairs. A second later, Richter and his men dash across the commons and then up the stairs as Quaid watches and then exits. Richter finds Lori unconscious on the floor. Quaid runs downstairs and into the subway. Helm activates a futuristic tracking device and pans it around like a Geiger counter. Other agents search the apartment. One agent tries to help Lori, but Richter kicks him away. "Don't touch her." She comes to, groggy. "You all right?" Lori gingerly checks out her bruise. "Sorry, I guess I blew it." "What's you remember?" "Nothing so far." "I got him!" Helm shows Richter the tracking device. A flashing red dot moving through a schematic representation of the building. Richter and Helm run to a window and look outside. They see Quaid running down an inclined rooftop toward the commons. "Shit, he's going for the subway. Let's get him. Go!" Helm and the other agents storm out. Richter lags behind and walks over to Lori. They kiss passionately. "Pack your stuff and get out of here." He heads for the door. "What if they bring him back?" "Not a chance." Richter leaves. Richter, Helm, and the other agents run downstairs into the subway after Quaid. The subway. Go! Quaid arrives at the security area and passes behind the X-ray screen. He is a skeleton. Suddenly, alarms wail. Red lights flash. The skeleton is surprised. Then he remembers the gun, which glows bright red in his bony hand. Guards spring forward to intercept him. Quaid's skull sees them coming. The skull turns and looks behind him. Richter and company rush toward him at full speed. The guards, now skeletons, storm closer. Trapped, his skull looks straight ahead through the X-ray screen at camera and runs forward. Quaid crashes through the X-ray screen, emerging from the image of his skeleton in a shower of glass. He races toward the subway platforms, followed by Richter, Helm, the agents, and guards. Quaid arrives at the intersection of corridors and staircases and barrels down the stairs. Move! Move! A moment later, Richter arrives at the same place and consults the tracking device, which indicates Quaid's location. Richter signals everyone but Helm to continue on the same level. Go, go! You, come with me. Helm and Richter dash down the stairs. Quaid turns a corner and runs onto an escalator flowing up. As he rises, he looks behind him and then ahead. There they are. 4 agents arrive at the upper escalator landing. They look down, they see him, and they shoot. Most of the commuters crouch to the ground, but an unlucky businessman catches a bullet in the face. Dead, he falls backward onto Quaid. The agents keep firing, blasting the body into bits. Quaid fires up at his enemies, killing 1, 2, 3, 4. But the gunshots continue. Richter and Helm, now behind him, shoot as they run up the escalator. Quaid hurls the remains of the corpse at them, knocking them down. He arrives at the top of the escalator and runs away. Richter and Helm struggle out from under the corpse. They run after Quaid from an escalator. Platform! Quaid runs to the subway platform, followed by Richter and Helm. Where? Up to the right. Quaid fights his way through the exiting passengers to the train that is now leaving. He runs along the side of the train. He breaks a window and dives inside, bowling down passengers. Richter and Helm charge into the area. They see Quaid and shoot at him with total disregard for innocent bystanders. Richter and Helm get a clearer shot at Quaid. Their bullets are coming closer. They only manage to shoot out the windows and the train leaves the station. Suddenly, it's quiet. In shock, no one says a word. The only voice comes from a line of 10 televisions, all playing the same commercial. A huckster delivers a sales pitch in close-up. Zoom out and reveal that he stands in front of a gargantuan rocket ship on a launching pad. Don't settle for pale memories. Don't fall for fake implants. Experience space travel the old-fashioned way, on a real live holiday you can afford. The rocket sails through space past the Earth orbit. Quaid shakes his head and sighs. Richter and Helm angrily stride out of the station and get in their car. I want that fucker dead. I don't blame you, man. I wouldn't want Quaid porking my old lady. Are you saying she liked it? I'm sure she hated every fucking minute of it. The dashboard is filled with elaborate tracking devices, electronic maps, and communications equipment. In the passenger seat, Richter furiously turns knobs and punches buttons, unsuccessfully trying to get a reading on Quaid. 6 Beta 9, we have a live transmission from Mr. Kohagen. Richter here, patch it through. A video monitor lights up with a grainy image of Kohagen's angry face. What the fuck is going on down there? I'm trying to neutralize a traitor. If I wanted him dead, you moron, I wouldn't have dumped him on Earth. We can't let him run around. He knows too much. Laurie says he can't remember jack shit. That's now. In an hour, he could have total recall. Listen to me, Richter. I want Quaid delivered alive for re-implantation. Have you got that? I want him back in place with Laurie. Richter is mortified. Can you hear me? Richter turns a dial and causes the reception to break up. What was that? I couldn't hear you. I've got Quaid. I said I wanted him back in place with Laurie. Richter deliberately intensifies the interference. Kohagen makes vituperative threats, which we can't decipher. Hello? We've got sunspots. I'm switching to another channel. Helm nudges Richter. A blinking red dot flashes on the tracking device on a map filled with large circles. Richter is happy to see it. He snaps his fingers and points Helm forward. I'm losing you, sir. Richter ends the transmission as Helm guns the car into traffic, splashing water on commuters. Where is he? Level 2, Galleria. He should have killed Quaid back on Mars. Quaid walks out of a subway station and emerges in a round shopping plaza, sunk in the middle of a traffic circle. Cars whiz around the periphery of the plaza, which has degenerated into a slum, complete with bars, flophouses, pimps, prostitutes, gangs, motorcycles, peddlers, and drunks sleeping in doorways. In the distance, we see a flashing sign on a flophouse, Hotel Ritz. Richter fulminates as Helm zigs in and out of traffic honking. Helm looks away at the tracking device, which zooms to a more detailed map section. Circle 28, top level. Quaid no sooner enters and closes the curtain than the video rings. He doesn't answer. On the fourth ring, he steps to the side of the screen so he can't be seen, and lets the call through without saying anything. The video screen shows a man's hand blocking the lens. If you want to live, don't hang up. Quaid doesn't hang up. What do you want? They've got you bugged. They'll be busting down the door in 3 minutes unless you do exactly what I say. Out of sight, Quaid searches his clothes for the bug. Don't bother looking. It's in your skull. Quaid looks around, spooked. Who are you? Never mind. Wet a towel and wrap it around your head. That'll muffle the signal. How did you find me? I would advise you to hurry. Quaid sees the sink on the other side of the room. Once he walks in front of the video phone to get there, the caller continues. This'll buy you some time. They won't be able to pinpoint you. Quaid feels like a fool, but he wets a large towel and begins to wrap it around his head. And hurry. We close on the tracking device. The frame zooms out 6 levels of detail to general map of the area. The blinking light grows dim. Shit! What is it? Richter fiddles with the tracking device and then whacks it a few times. We lost him. Quaid finishes wrapping the wet towel around his head like a turban. Now go to the window. Quaid pulls aside a curtain and peeks outside. Can you see me down there? Quaid looks out and sees the phone booth. Stevens, a mustached soldier of fortune, holds up a doctor's satchel. Quaid can't clearly see the man's face. This is the suitcase you gave me. I gave you? I'm leaving it here. Come get it and keep moving. Quaid sees Steven and begins to hang up. Wait! What? Who are you? We were buddies in the agency back on Mars. You asked me to find you if you disappeared, so here I am. Goodbye. What was I doing on Mars? Damn! The line goes dead. Stevens leaves the phone booth. Quaid dashes out of the hotel room. Quaid runs out of the hotel, glances around for Stevens. He then hustles over to the phone booth, where a sweet little old lady is pulling out the suitcase. Excuse me, ma'am, that's mine. I don't see your name on it. Quaid takes hold of the suitcase and pulls gently, but the old lady won't let go. Somebody left it for me? Go find your own bag. The little old lady clutches the suitcase to her chest with all her might. At a loss, Quaid rips it away from her. Sorry, ma'am, I need it. Quaid turns and walks off. Fuck you, asshole! Richter and Helm drive up to the mall looking for Quaid. Helm consults the tracking device, which displays a vague map of the whole area. Suddenly the red dot gets brighter. He looks around and sees Quaid approaching a Johnny cab. That son of a bitch, he's gotta be around here somewhere. I've got him, the guy in the turban. Helms slams on the brakes and brings the car to a screeching stop. Quaid turns to the sound and sees Richter and Helm. Quaid jumps in the Johnny cab. Johnny turns around and addresses him. "Welcome to Johnny Cab. Where can I—" "Drive! Drive!" Quaid sees Richter and Helm leave their car and rush straight at him. "Would you please repeat the destination?" "Anywhere! Go! Just go! Oh, shit!" Richter and Helm take aim through the crowd. "I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with that address." Quaid furiously wrenches Johnny, an armless torso, from his console. He drags him into the back seat and takes off in the Johnny cab, just as Richter and Helm run up. Richter and Helm fire. A window shatters in the Johnny cab. Quaid leans over the driver's seat and awkwardly turns the steering joystick. The cab starts spinning. As Richter and Helm keep shooting, the windows blow out in sequence. "Please fasten your seatbelts." Quaid fiddles with the joystick. When he reaches the limit of his frustration, Johnny Cab suddenly straightens out. Richter and Helm run after it. Quaid drives the Johnny Cab up to an abandoned factory and exits, taking the case with him. "The fare is 18 credits, please." "Quit while you're ahead." Johnny spewing sparks. "Thanks for taking Johnny Cab." Johnny Cab starts forward after Quaid, who is walking away. Quaid jumps out of the way just in time as Johnny goes past, crashes into a wall, and explodes. "We hope you enjoyed the ride." Quaid runs away from the explosion and up some stairs, entering the factory. Quaid enters into the machine room, a huge space filled with rusty equipment. Rats scurry out of his way. Quaid sets the satchel on an assembly line apparatus and removes the contents. Packets of Martian money. Quaid whistles to himself as he flips through the red banknotes. A few false identity cards with photos we can't clearly see. A space shuttle ticket to Mars, first class. A weird surgical instrument sealed in clear plastic. A wristwatch. As Quaid examines the watch, he's startled by a fearsome intruder who stares at him from the shadows 30 feet away. Quaid draws his gun and fires. The man simultaneously shoots at Quaid. Who's going to drop? Neither. The guns extend. They have each other in the cheek. Quaid takes a step forward. The intruder steps into the light. Quaid can see the intruder. It's himself. A mirror image hologram of extreme high fidelity. He walks toward the hologram, which matches him step for step. Like the Marx Brothers routine, Quaid makes a sudden movement. The hologram isn't fooled. Quaid presses a button. The hologram disappears. He reaches into the satchel and removes a miniature video disc player. Quaid turns it on. Quaid himself appears in close-up and addresses the camera. "Howdy, stranger. This is Hauser. If things have gone wrong, I'm talking to myself, and you've got a wet towel wrapped around your head." Hauser laughs heartily. He has an air of complete self-confidence. Quaid watches, fascinated. "Now, whatever your name is, get ready for a big surprise. You're not you. You're me." Quaid stares at Hauser's face. No shit. Richter and Helm drive around, looking for Quaid, trying to pick him up on the tracking device. 6 Beta 9, 6 Beta 9, come in. Richter punches a button and the agent appears on the video screen. "You found him?" "No, we picked up an explosion at the old cement factory." "Send 2 units, we'll meet them there." "Roger." The car accelerates. Fascinated, Quaid continues watching his alter ego. "All my life, I worked for Mars Intelligence. I did Kohagen's dirty work. Then, a few weeks ago, I met somebody, a woman, and I learned a few things. Like I've been playing for the wrong team. All I can do now is try to make up for it." Taps on his forehead. "There's enough shit in here to fuck Kohagen good. Unfortunately, if you're listening to this means he got to me first. And here comes the hard part, old buddy. It's all up to you. Quaid is not so sure he likes this idea. Great. Sorry to drag you into it, but you're the only one I can trust. Richter's car and 2 other agency vehicles cruise down the alleys between the various buildings, alert for any sign of Quaid. They drive to the burning Johnny cab and exit their cars. What do we got? He's not here, he's gone. I've got a weak signal over there. Split up, find him. On TV, Hauser reaches into the same satchel that Quaid picked up at the pawn shop. First, let's get rid of that bug in your head. He holds up a plastic bag. Take this thing out of the case and stick it up your nose. Don't worry, it's self-guided. Just shove real hard. Quaid throws the remainder of his Mars bars to the rats and takes out the thing in the plastic bag. He tears it open and removes a surgical instrument that looks like a metallic tentacle of an alien. When you hear a crunch, you're there. Just pull it out. He sticks the tentacle up his nose and shoves. Whoa! Quaid grimaces in pain. And be careful, it's my head too. The recorded message freeze frames. Quaid warily sits down and continues with the procedure. As the instrument winds through his sinuses, Quaid's face bulges and distorts. The pain grows more and more intense until the instrument breaks through cartilage and stops. Quaid pulls the large device from his nose. The homing device glistens like an aluminum pea in a tiny claw at the end of a tentacle. Quaid takes the bloody pea, rolls it between his thumb and forefinger, and then shoves it into a Mars bar. Richter, Helm, and the agents continue their search among the buildings of the factory. Helm studies the tracking device. He's not at ground level. Richter signals upward. They all climb ladders and staircases to the second story of various buildings. They split at the top of the stairs. Richter, Helm, and the 2 agents continue across a catwalk. Helm is consulting the tracking device. I've got a lock. Here! Come on! Recovering from the pain, Quaid presses a button on the video disc player and the recorded message continues. Now this is the plan. Get your ass to Mars. Then, go to the Hilton. Flash the Brubaker ID at the desk. That's all there is to it. Just do what I tell you. We can nail the son of a bitch who fucked you and me, and millions of other poor bastards here on Mars. I'm counting on you, buddy. Don't let me down. The TV automatically turns off. Quaid is left in the silence of darkness. He hears Richter and his men nearby. He sees a beam from their flashlight and springs to his feet. Quaid races back to his things, throws them into the case, smashes the video player with his case, and runs. He stops and returns to put the bug in a piece of candy. Richter and his men juke left and right like heat-seeking missiles. The tracking device shows Quaid's exact location. Straight ahead. In there. Richter spins through a door into the machine room, where flashlight beams cut through the dusty air. Richter and the others unleash a firestorm in the general direction of Quaid's remains. There! Another firestorm ensues, but no luck. There! They all point in another direction. Another firestorm. There! They point in yet another direction, and yet another firestorm. Richter now understands how they were tricked. He blasts a rat to a pulp. Gzz, ass to Mars. Gzz, ass to Mars. Gzz. In the midst of the barrage, he walks up to Richter with a broken video player, which squawks like a broken record. Distracted, Richter stops shooting, turns and watches a static-ridden snippet of the recorded message on the cracked screen. Only a small shard of the video disc remains inside. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. Weeks later. Red. A vacant, epic expanse of glowing crimson. A spaceship drops into frame. Retro rockets burning. We pan down with the spaceship and descend in front of 2 moons, the Pyramid Mine, a distant city, and prepares to land at the Mars spaceport. Close on a passport. Bam! An official seal stamps down on the document, leaving the circular imprint, Mars Federal Colony / Confederation of Northern Nations. An immigration officer hands the passport back to its owner, who takes it and moves on. Next! The immigration hall is filled with passengers arriving from Earth, queued up in 3 long lines. Soldiers, on a high state of alert, stand guard with automatic rifles. Quaid's satchel sits on the floor behind a white line. A hand reaches down, picks it up, and carries it forward. From the back, we see that the person carrying the satchel is a tall, fat lady in a loose-fitting dress. He steps up to the immigration officer at his desk. Passport? As the fat lady hands over her passport, soldiers rush directly towards her from the rear of the hall, shoving people aside. Richter, Helm, and Everett, a stern military officer, urgently follow in the path cleared by the soldiers. They get closer and closer to the fat lady and pass right behind her without noticing anything in the least suspicious. Mr. Kohagen wants to see you right away. Any news of Quaid? Not since you lost him. Watch your mouth, Captain. The group walks past the immigration desk and exits the frame. Hold on the back of the fat lady. The immigration officer studies her passport. Close on her photo. He looks up, closely at her face. She bears no resemblance to Quaid. How long do you plan on staying on Mars? 2 weeks. Look at this shit. What the hell is this? Behind the desks, Richter stops at a wall defaced with graffiti. Kuato lives. The Martians all love Kuato. They think he's fucking George Washington. Kill the bastard. Nobody knows who he is. The immigration officer picks up the seal, ready to stamp the fat lady's passport, after one last perfunctory question. Have you brought any fruit or vegetables onto the planet? 2 weeks. He stops himself from hammering down with the seal. Excuse me? The fat lady covers her mouth, embarrassed. 2 weeks. Richter glances at the fat lady but keeps walking toward the exit. Things are getting hot around here. The rebels took over the refinery last night. No turbinium's going out. The fat lady is having some kind of fit. She keeps repeating the same phrase over and over, each time slower and more distorted, like a record slowing down. Everybody stares at the poor woman. She holds her mouth and tries to shut herself up. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Richter stops and looks suspiciously at the fat lady. The fat lady sees him staring, and they lock eyes. Richter knows, and he points. Quaid! That's Quaid! Where? The woman! The fat lady edges to the side along a wall. Get him! Everett and his men are confused. Her! Arrest that woman! 2 weeks. Richter, Helm, Everett, and the soldiers run over. The fat lady twists her ear. She is shaking radically. Her face splits down the middle, revealing Quaid inside. Catch! Quaid throws the split face at a soldier near the window. The soldier instinctively catches the face, which snaps together and addresses him in a normal voice. Get ready for a big surprise! Just as the soldier reacts, boom! The face explodes. Everett, Richter, and Helm fire at Quaid. The gunfire bursts a window. The near vacuum outside creates an instant typhoon in the station. Loose objects are sucked through the broken window. Richter, Helm, Everett, and all the soldiers hold on for dear life. Quaid pulls himself along a stair railing towards a doorway. Alarms sound and metal barriers slide down over windows and doorways, sealing off the depressurized area. Sh-ching! Sh-ching! Quaid thrusts out from a wall and rolls under a falling barrier. A metal sheet covers the shattered window. Instantly, the air is still and quiet. Richter sprints to Quaid's doorway and tries to pull up the barrier, but it won't give. He yells at a young, frightened soldier, "Open it!" The soldier is speechless. Furious, Richter backhands him with his gun. "Open the goddamn door, now!" Everett grabs Richter's arm as he is about to strike again. I can't, they're all connected." Richter and Everett stare at each other with mutual hatred. A Martian subway car clatters through a dark tunnel. The crowding and flashing of lights creates a feeling of anxiety. Reward posters for Kuato are posted throughout the train. They contain no likeness of the wanted man. Quaid looks around, alert to potential danger. He overhears snippets of various private conversations. And then, a few days later, Kohagen raised the price of air. Again? Nobody on Earth gives a damn what happens up here. They just want our turbinium, so they can zap things from space. Red light floods the car, and reverberated clattering diminishes. The subway emerges onto the surface of Mars. Through a window behind Quaid, we see the pyramid mine from his recurrent dreams. Quaid turns and sees the object of his obsession. Fascinated, he addresses a burly miner standing next to him. "Excuse me." He nods to the mountain. "What is that?" "You made the pyramid mine?" He sees Quaid staring at it. "I used to work there, till they found that alien shit inside." He dismisses the idea. "Well, that's a rumor, isn't it?" "You think so?" The train worms into a tunnel leading to the domed city of Christ, perched on the side of a steep canyon. High on the other ledge looms Kohagen's headquarters. Kohagen sits in his high-backed executive chair in front of a wall-sized picture window, which overlooks a majestic panorama of the pyramid mine. He hears doors slide open, and then footsteps. Richter enters the frame. "Mr. Kohagen, you wanted to see me?" Kohagen swivels around in his chair. He's smiling. "Richter, do you know why I'm such a happy person?" "No, sir." "Because I've got the greatest job in the solar system. As long as the turbinium keeps flowing, I can do anything I want. Anything. In fact, the only thing I ever worry about is one day, if the rebels win, it might all end." Kohagen explodes, pounding his fist on the desk. "And you're fucking making it happen! First you try and kill Quaid, then you let him get away!" Richter survives the barrage, shaken but not cowed. "He had help. From our side, sir." As if totally obvious. "I know that!" Richter is caught off guard. "But I thought..." "Who told you to think? I don't give you enough information to think. You do what you're told. That's what you do." "Yes, sir." Kohagen feeds his goldfish, who swim around in a large spherical bowl. "Now let's get down to business. Kuato wants what's in Quaid's head, and he might be able to get it, 'cause they say he's psychic. Now, I have a little plan to keep this from happening. Do you think you can play along?" "Yes, sir." "Great, because otherwise I'll erase your ass." A mob of passengers disembark from a commuter train. Amid the crowd, we find Quaid doing his best to be inconspicuous. He moves through a broad underground plaza, hewn from solid rock. The railway platform is on one side, across from a large-scale, bustling mine operation. "Taxi, sir! Taxi! Sir, magazines!" "Man!" Around the hub, other tunnels lead to various neighborhoods, labeled Sectors A, B, C, D, E, F, etc., and hotels. Quaid walks into the tunnel labeled Hilton. Quaid comes out of an inclined underground walkway into a spacious atrium under a glass dome. The pyramid mine is visible straight ahead, through a high wall of glass. Red sunlight bathes the lobby in a weird rosy glow. Quaid crosses the lobby and walks up to the registration desk. A clerk addresses him. "Good afternoon. Can I help you?" Quaid hands his ID card to the clerk. "I'd like a room, please." "Nice to have you back with us, Mr. Brubacher." "Thank you. Would you like the same suite?" "Definitely." The clerk sees something unusual on the monitor. It seems you left something in your safe." "Get it, please." "Identification." They press their thumbs to a safe opener box. The small safe deposit box slides smoothly out of a wall. He pulls the ball from its track and sets it in front of Quaid. The clerk politely leaves Quaid alone. "I'll go encode your room key." Quaid opens the box. "Thank you." The clerk steps away, and Quaid looks inside the box. It's empty, except in the back there is a piece of red paper folded in eighths. Quaid grabs the paper and hurriedly unfolds it. The red paper is an advertisement for a bar, the last resort in Venusville, featuring a drawing of a naked woman. Quaid turns the paper over. On the other side is a handwritten message. "For a good time, ask for Molina." The clerk returns with a plastic keycard, which he hands to Quaid. "There you go, Mr. Brubacher. Suite 610 in the East Wing." Quaid reaches for a pen. "May I use your pen?" Quaid scribbles Molina under the written message. The handwriting matches. Quaid comes out of the driveway from the Hilton and strides toward the cab stand. On the way, he's approached by Benny, an amiable black hustler in his early 30s. "Hey man, need a cab?" Quaid nods toward the first taxi in line. "What's wrong with this one?" "He ain't got 5 kids to feed." Quaid sees that the other cabbie is a punk in his early 20s. He takes mercy on Benny. "Where's yours?" "Over there, man." "You got the job." As Benny leads Quaid away, the punk cabbie runs after them. "That's my fare, you asshole!" "Hey, mister, god damn it! Fuck off, man, shit!" Suddenly, boom! A huge explosion destroys the upper level of the mine. Windows shatter. The blast throws Benny to the ground and almost topples Quaid. Alarms go off. Benny staggers to his feet, slightly dazed. "Welcome to Mars." "What was that? An accident?" Soldiers dash from all directions and engage in a shootout with rebel guerrillas. "The rebels? They're trying to shut down the mines." "Let's get out of here, before they arrest us." Benny swings up the gull-wing door of his minicab, and Quaid squeezes himself into the tiny vehicle. Benny quickly pulls into traffic. What do the rebels want? Oh, the usual. More money, more freedom, more air. Benny cuts off several cars and drives into a dark tunnel. Benny drives through the narrow tube. Occasionally, a patch of red lights hits the cab through a ceiling panel. "So, where to?" "The last resort." Benny suggestively. You're getting off to an early start." The cab emerges into a plaza, immersed in red light. Various tunnels lead to different sectors and different mines. Benny's cab swerves out of the path of a stampeding mine mole. First time on Mars? Well, actually no, sort of. To himself. Man don't know if he's been to Mars or not. The cab zigs into a tunnel marked Sector G/Venusville. Benny's taxi emerges from a tunnel in the bustling adult entertainment district, filled with bars, brothels, cafes, strip joints, t-shirt shops, cheap hotels, and psychic parlors. Most of the buildings are dilapidated and covered with ads, signs, and graffiti. Reward posters for kuato are posted up everywhere. Voila, Venusville. Porters push handcarts and carry goods on their backs. Soldiers patrol the streets in pairs. Huge fans blow air into Venusville. Quaid stares out the window, engrossed in the spectacle of the strange planet. Benny parks the taxi by a pedestrian alley, which is too narrow for cars. Crazy Martian drivers! Exasperated to Quaid. We're gonna have to walk from here. Would you like to know the future? Come on, it's around the corner. Benny leads Quaid down a crowded, narrow alley. Barkers and hookers try to lure them inside. Madame Fatima stands in front of a psychic parlor with her little girl. She looks like a knockout. Benny nudges Quaid to look. Hair covers half her face. Not bad, eh? Read your palm, read your aura, probe the secrets of your heart. As Madame Fatima steps forward, the fans blow her hair, revealing a horrible disfigurement on the concealed side of her face. Quaid is shocked and disturbed to see that her little girl has the same congenital defect. I bet I can guess your birthday. He bends low. What is it? You're a Taurus, right? He's impressed and smiles. How did you guess? Quaid gives the little girl a coin. She smiles in gratitude. He walks on and turns to Benny. Tell me something. Are all psychics, freaks? Afraid so, man. Comes with the territory. What happened to them? Cheap domes, no air to screen out the rays. Arriving at a corner, Benny points to a dead-end alley at a seedy dive. Well, there it is, the last resort. You sure you want to go in? Why not? I know a much better place down the block. The girls are clean, the liquor ain't watered down, and you get a kickback. Benny pleads guilty with a broad smile. He has a mouth full of bad teeth, including 2 gold caps, one with a crescent moon design, the other with a star. Hey, I got 5 kids to feed. Quaid peels a few large bills into Benny's hand. Take him to the dentist. Benny counts the money, his eyes wide with amazement. By the time he looks up, Quaid is walking away. Hey, mister, thanks. I'll be waiting for you. Take your time. Benny is the name. Benny. Quaid walks into the last resort. Quaid stops just inside the door and cases the joint. It's a low-down whorehouse for minors. Girls walk in and out, picking up clients and bringing them upstairs. Some of the men play cards. Quaid walks to the bar and approaches the bartender. What do you want? I'm looking for Molina. She's busy, but Mary here, she's free. Mary, a sexy, well-built prostitute, rubs against Quaid. Not free, honey, but available. Quaid notices that Mary has 3 breasts, prominently displayed in a special bikini top. I'll wait for Molina. Insulted, Mary farts and oozes over to another customer. Earth slime. Thing is, friend, Mel is real picky. She kinda sticks to her regulars. Quaid presses a red banknote into the bartender's hand. Don't worry, she'll like me. The bartender calls towards a table near the stairs. Mel! Hey, Mel! A woman carouses with a bunch of minors at a table. She sits on the knee of a sullen, unshaven fellow named Tony. George, who is relaxed and confident, sees the bartender try to get Molina's attention. He signals her, turns around laughing. When she sees Quaid, her laugh fades to shock. Molina bears an uncanny resemblance to Quaid's fantasy composite at recall. Molina sashays over to Quaid and looks him up and down. Hello there, Hauser. Still bulging, I see. She kisses him wet and sloppy and rubs up against him. What you been feeding this thing? Blondes. Looks down. I think it's still hungry. Molina leads Quaid down the stairs. Tony sticks his leg out, blocking the way. You got a lot of nerve showing your face around here. Look who's talking. Tony grabs Quaid's arm. They're about to come to blows when George diffuses the situation. Hey, Tony, give the big guy a break. Relax, you'll live longer. With some relief, Tony lets go of Quaid. Molina takes Quaid by the hand and leads him up the stairs. They pass Thumbelina, a beautiful midget in a push-up corset. She's going down. Honey, take care of Tony, will ya? Thumbelina surveys Quaid appreciatively. As usual. Eyes Quaid. You need help with this one, give me a holler. Quaid enters first, then Molina pulls the door closed behind her. She looks to Quaid, smiles seductively, then slaps him hard in the face. You son of a bitch, you're alive? Quaid is stunned. I thought Kohagen tortured you to death. I guess he didn't. You couldn't give me a message? You ever wonder what happened to me? Molina's tone of voice and bearings are suddenly completely different. Intelligent, dignified. Quaid doesn't know what to say. He looks at her, guilty yet innocent. Seeing Quaid's lost expression, Molina's wrath evaporates. Oh, Hauser, thank God you're alive. She kisses him with deep feeling, engulfing him in a flood of chaste passion. He makes a half-hearted resistance. Molina! Molina! Quaid summons the strength to push her away. Molina! Molina is flushed and panting. What? There's something I have to tell you. Molina waits, curious. Quaid continues with difficulty. I don't remember you. What are you talking about? I don't remember you. I don't remember us. I don't even remember me. Molina half laughs, not really believing him. What, did you get amnesia? How did you get here? Hauser left me a note. Hauser? You're Hauser. Not anymore. Molina looks at him with puzzlement. Now I'm Quaid. Douglas Quaid. She breaks into a grin. Hauser, you've lost your mind. I didn't lose it. Kohagen stole it. He found out that Hauser switched sides, so he turned him into somebody else, and that's me. This is too weird. Then he dumped me on Earth with a wife and a lousy job, and... Wait, did you say wife? Are you fucking married? Quaid realizes he's stuck his foot in his mouth. She wasn't really my wife. Oh, she isn't really your wife. How stupid of me. She was Hauser's wife. Forget I said wife. No, let's forget everything. I've had it with you and your goddamn lies. Quaid, exasperated, innocent. Why would I lie to you? Because you're still working for Kohagen. Don't be ridiculous. You never loved me, Hauser. You just used me to get inside. Inside what? Quaid's curiosity seems to confirm Molina's suspicions. She becomes cold and distant. I think you better leave. Molina, Hauser sent me to do something. I'm not falling for it. He points to his head. He said there's enough in here to nail Kohagen for good. Get out. Quaid steps forward. You've got to help me remember. Molina turns back toward the bed. I said get out. Molina, please, people are trying to kill me. Molina pulls a huge automatic pistol from under the mattress, and Quaid finds himself staring down the barrel. Really? Quaid studies her steely eyes. All right, I'm leaving. Quaid backs out of the room, and Molina holds back tears. Benny sits at the bar and feels up Mary. Oh, baby, you make me wish I had 3 hands. You're doing okay with 2. Over her shoulder, Benny sees Quaid coming from upstairs. Excuse me, babe. We'll pick this back up later. To Mary's surprise, Benny slips out of her embrace and pushes through the crowd. He meets Quaid at the bottom of the stairs. That didn't take long. Quaid ignores Benny and heads for the door. Benny chases after him. Let me ask you a question. You ever fucking mutant? Take me to the hotel. Quaid walks out of the brothel. The camera watches them through the window as they disappear to the sights and sounds of Venusville. I know these Siamese twins. Man, you don't know if you're coming or going. George appears in the foreground in front of the window. He looks from the window to the top of the stairs where Molina stands. Quaid lies forlorn on his bed in the dark, staring at the TV but not really watching. The blue light of the television flickers against the somber red of the setting sun. Kohagen delivers a speech from his office. This afternoon at 4:30 p.m., I signed an order declaring martial law throughout the Mars federal colony. I will not tolerate any further damage to our mining export operations. Mr. Kuato and his terrorists must understand that their self-defeating efforts will only bring misery and suffering to the people of Mars. Quaid turns off the TV and stares at the ceiling. He's startled by a knock at the door. Quaid sits up slowly on alert. Mr. Quaid? Quaid picks up his gun. What? I need to talk to you about Mr. Hauser. Quaid cocks his gun and approaches the door very cautiously. Who are you? Dr. Edgemar. From Recall? stunned, incredulous. How did you find me? It's difficult to explain. Could you open the door, please? I'm not armed. All of a sudden, Quaid flings open the door and takes hair-trigger aim at Dr. Edgemar from the Recall commercial. He's dressed in the same tweed jacket. Quaid keeps the gun on Edgemar and glances up and down the hall. Don't worry, I'm alone. May I come in? Quaid roughly pulls Edgemar into the hotel room and closes the door. He frisks Edgemar to find weapons. What do you want? This is going to be very difficult for you to accept, Mr. Quaid. I'm listening. I'm afraid you're not really standing here right now. Quaid can't repress a chuckle. You know, Doc, you could have fooled me. I'm quite serious. You're not here, and neither am I. Quaid squeezes Edgemar's shoulder, verifying its solidity. Amazing. Where are we? At Recall. Quaid's cockiness wavers. You're strapped to an implant chair, and I'm monitoring you at the psychoprobe console. Oh, I get it. I'm dreaming. And this is all part of the delightful vacation your company sold me. Not exactly. What you're experiencing is a free-form delusion based on memory tapes, but you're inventing it yourself as you go along. Well, if this is my delusion, who invited you? I've been artificially implanted as an emergency measure. I'm sorry to tell you this, Mr. Quaid, but you've suffered a schizoid embolism. We can't snap you out of your fantasy. I've been sent in to try to talk you down. How much is Kohagen paying you for this? Think about it. Your dream started in the middle of an implant procedure. Everything after that, the chases, the trip to Mars, your suite here, they're all elements of Recall Holiday, an ego trip. You paid to be a secret agent. Bullshit. It's all coincidence. What about the girl? Brunette, athletic, sleazy and demure, just like you specified. Is that a coincidence? She's real. I dreamed about her before I even went to Recall. Can you hear yourself, Mr. Quaid? She's real because you dreamed her? That's right. Edgemar sighs, discouraged. Maybe this will convince you. Would you mind opening the door? Quaid jabs his gun into Edgemar's ribs. You open it. No need to be rude. I'll do it. Quaid shadows Edgemar as he opens the door. Laurie stands in the threshold. Quaid does his best to absorb another shock. Laurie puts on a brave face, like holding back tears in front of a sick child. There's not the slightest indication that she has ever been anything but Quaid's adoring wife. Sweetheart? Come in, Mrs. Quaid. Laurie walks in hesitantly. Quaid pulls her to him and roughly frisks her. I suppose you're not here either. I'm at Recall. Quaid laughs and roughly pushes her away. I love you. Right, that's why you tried to kill me. No, I would never do anything to hurt you. I want you to come back to me. Bullshit. Laurie's heart is breaking, but Quaid is cold as ice. What's bullshit, Mr. Quaid? That you're having a paranoid episode triggered by acute neurochemical trauma? Or that you're really an invincible secret agent from Mars who's the victim of an interplanetary conspiracy to make him think he's a lowly construction worker? Quaid's certainty is undermined. Edgemar looks at him with great sympathy and kindness. Stop punishing yourself, Doug. You're a fine, upstanding man. You have a beautiful wife who loves you. I do. Laurie beams at him with pure affection. Your whole life is ahead of you. You've got to want to return to reality. Quaid is half convinced, but doesn't want to show it. Suppose I do. Then what? Edgemar opens his hand, revealing a small pill. What is it? It's a symbol of your desire to return to reality. Inside your dream, you'll fall asleep. Quaid picks up the pill and examines it. All right, let's say you're telling the truth, and this is all a dream. Realizing something, Quaid raises his gun to Edgemar's head. Then I can pull this trigger and it won't matter. Doug, don't! Edgemar remains preternaturally calm. His eyes and voice express his unselfish concern for Quaid. It won't make the slightest difference to me, Doug, but the consequences to you would be devastating. In your mind, I'll be dead, and with no one to guide you, You'll be stuck in permanent psychosis. Doug, let Dr. Edgemar help you. Finger on the trigger. Quaid is torn with doubt. The walls of reality will come crashing down. 1 minute you'll be the savior of the rebel cause, and then the next thing, you'll be Kohagen's bosom buddy. You'll even have ridiculous fantasies about alien civilizations, all as you requested. But in the end, back on Earth, you'll be lobotomized. Quaid becomes totally demoralized. So get a grip on yourself, Doug, and put down the gun. Edgemar stares hard. Quaid hesitantly lowers the gun. Now take the pill and put it in your mouth. Quaid puts the pill in his mouth. Swallow it. Quaid hesitates. Edgemar and Laurie watch with great anticipation. Go ahead, sweetheart. Quaid is racked with indecision. Then he sees a single drop of sweat trickle down Edgemar's brow. Abruptly, he swings his gun at Edgemar and fires. Edgemar's blood splatters in dense circles on the wall. Quaid spits the pill out onto Edgemar's blood-stained body. Now you've done it! Now you've done it! Boom! The bloodstain explodes, blasting Quaid backwards through the air. 4 Mars agents storm through the big hole. Quaid ducks, turns, and starts to rise, facing toward the wall. Agent 1 rushes Quaid. Quaid ducks as Agent Number 1 goes to hit him with his gun, but goes over Quaid's shoulder. Quaid rises and flips Number 1 over his right shoulder. Number 1 lands on the bed. As Quaid recovers, Agent 2 grabs Quaid's right arm. Agent 3 grabs Quaid's left arm, and Agent 4 comes in to hit Quaid. Quaid kicks Number 4 in the chest, and he flies backward. Quaid then elbows Number 2 in the chest, and then backhands Number 2 in the face. He falls backwards. Quaid then throws a right punch at 3, who falls backwards, as Quaid follows through with his punch. Number 4 comes in and kicks Quaid in the stomach with his right foot. Quaid reacts, and then backhands Number 4 across the face. Number 4 hits the ground. Number 2 comes in with a right leg kick at Quaid's left shoulder/head. Quaid grabs the leg and throws him. Instantly, Number 3 is rising up behind Quaid and hits him on the back of the head with his gun. Quaid collapses and tries to crawl away toward the door. Number 1 grabs Quaid by the collar and shirt. Number 4 grabs his left legs, and they try to restrain him. Laurie steps in and kicks across the face, moves around to the other side and kicks him in the balls. He stops resisting. Laurie kicks him again in the face, and Quaid falls backwards, unconscious. That's for making me come to Mars. You know how much I hate this fucking place. Cuff him. Laurie looks down triumphantly and speaks into a wireless video phone. I've got him. At the other end of the line, Richter sits at a bar next to Helm. A panorama of Mars is visible behind them through the dome. Bring him down by the service elevator. Laurie blows him a kiss. End of the call. Richter and Helm slide off their tools and run through the lobby to the service elevator. 4 agents drag Quaid, semi-conscious, to the service elevator. Laurie follows. An agent presses the call button, and they wait. The doors slide open. Molina stands inside and professionally assassinates the 4 agents who have their hands full with Quaid. Laurie drops to the floor, swings her legs, and swipes Molina's feet from out under her. Her gun goes flying. Laurie kicks Molina in the face and the stomach, and then flips her over her head. They stand and face off, and then Molina hits Laurie in the face and kicks her in the stomach. Laurie blocks Molina's next punch and elbows Molina in the ribs and flips Molina again, and then elbows her in the face. Quaid squirms groggily over a pile of corpses and wrests a gun from a dead hand. Laurie positions herself on top of Molina and pulls her head back. Laurie pulls a knife from an ankle sheath and prepares to plunge it into Molina's throat. The knife flies from Laurie's hand. Pyong! Quaid sprawls on the floor. Hands cuffed in front of him, he holds a smoking pistol aimed at Laurie. Doug, you wouldn't hurt me, would you, honey? She sees his expression. Sweetheart, be reasonable. We're married. Lori stealthily reaches behind her back for a concealed gun and pulls it on him. Quaid shoots Lori in the forehead, leaving a clean, small hole between her eyes. Rising to Molina. Consider that a divorce. She falls backwards through the elevator. A beat. That was your wife? He nods blankly. What a bitch. Richter and Helm wait impatiently for the service elevator to arrive. It's stuck on the 6th floor. They realize something is wrong, and they run back to the passenger elevator in the lobby. Get out of the way! Molina hastily searches through the pockets of the dead agents. I thought you didn't like me. If Kohagen wants you dead, you might be okay. Molina finds the key and starts unlocking Quaid's handcuffs. So you drop by to apologize? Kuato wants to see you. Off come the cuffs. Come on. She pulls him to his feet and they run toward the passenger elevators. The doors slide open. Richter and Helm are inside. Molina pulls Quaid towards an adjacent corridor. Richter and Helm charge out of the elevator, shooting. They chase after Quaid and Molina until they almost trip over Lori's dead body. Helm keeps going, but Richter, stunned and bereaved, kneels down and strokes her face. Oh, baby. Quaid and Molina approach the end of the corridor, a balcony which overlooks the lobby far below. The glass dome stretches away at an incline, seemingly out of reach. Now what? Jump! Without missing a beat, Molina and Quaid jump onto the balustrade and leap into the void. Quaid and Molina grab onto metal girders which form the matrix for the glass panel of the dome. Helm arrives at the balcony and takes aim, but he decides not to shoot. Richter walks up a moment later in rage and gets ready to fire. Just as he pulls the trigger, Helm slams his arm down. The gun discharges onto the floor. No! You're gonna crack the fucking dome! Are you trying to kill us? The dome will crack! Furious, Richter hits Helm and tries to shoot again. Helm struggles fiercely with his much larger boss. Richter comes to his senses and stops fighting. Looking over the banister, he sees that Quaid and Molina are climbing down the dome to the lobby. Richter and Helm dash back down the corridor. Silhouetted against the vast dome like flies on a window, Quaid and Molina swing and slide toward the lobby. On the way, they pass a window washer and a spacesuit on the outside of the dome. By the way, ever heard of a company named Recall? I used to model for him. Why? Just wondering. Quaid and Molina get into position and drop down into the lobby. Quaid and Molina jump onto the lobby catwalk and then run to an exit that leads to the hub. Richter and Helm charge out of the elevator, run by the registration desk, and chase Quaid and Molina across the lobby, shooting. Quaid and Molina sprint down the ramp. Quaid and Molina run into the street and look for a cab. Out of nowhere, a taxi streaks up beside them. The door swings open. It's Benny. Taxi! Molina! Molina! They dive inside. Need a ride? The last resort, quick! Benny's cab scoots into traffic. You guys are going in circles. Richter and Helm run into the hub and see the cab and shoot at it. The rear window of the taxi shatters. Jesus, y'all in trouble. Come on! Richter and Helm jump into their car and take off in pursuit, hitting a pedestrian. Benny's cab speeds into a tunnel. Shut up and drive. What you doing to me, man? I got 6 kids to feed. Richter and Helm chase after Molina and Quaid. Faster, faster! Richter knocks out his window and fires at Quaid and Molina. They shoot back through the empty rear window frame. Molina shoots the gun out of Richter's hand. Not bad for a hooker. I'm not a hooker. That's my cover. Benny's taxi jets out of the tunnel into the mining hub and swerves around a mole. Richter's car zooms into the hub. He leans out the window again, only this time he has a much bigger gun. Benny makes a wide turn and fishtails into the Venusville Sector G tube. Helm makes a tighter turn and gains some ground. Richter blasts away with his bigger gun as his car enters the tunnel. Benny's front windshield shatters. His taxi swerves out of control. His cab careens out of the tunnel and weaves through the crowded area, crashing into Madame Fatima's psychic parlor. Benny's cab bowls through a strip joint, finally coming to a stop in a courtyard. Out on the street, Richter's car screeches to a halt. He and Helm run out and wade through the wreckage. "Follow us!" Quaid, Molina, and Benny scramble out of the cab and start running down a narrow alley. "Aw, Christ, now they're after me!" Molina, Quaid, and Benny turn out onto the alley into a street. Richter and Helm follow a short distance back. Before they can shoot, Molina, Quaid, and Benny round the corner into a dead-end alley that leads to the last resort. The bartender holds open the door. Molina, Quaid, and Benny dash inside. Molina leads Quaid and Benny through the crowd to the back of the brothel. "Tony!" With rehearsed precision, Tony opens a concealed panel in the rear wall. Molina, Quaid, and Benny charge through the secret doorway. Quaid stops for just a moment and faces Tony. "Thank you, Tony." Immediately, Tony and the bartender close the panel, move the table into place, sit down, and manage to act nonchalant, just as Richter and Helm charge inside, guns drawn. "Spread out." The room falls quiet. Richter and Helm wade into the club and look around. Soldiers arrive and stand by the door. Richter comes across Mary, who's descending the stairs. "Want to have some fun?" "Where are they?" "What are you talking about? I don't know." Bang! Richter shoots Mary in the back, and then he points his gun at Thumbelina and holds it on her. "Maybe you know." Before she can respond, Tony comes from behind Richter and kicks the gun away. Helm pivots to shoot Tony, but Thumbelina reaches up with a bowie knife and guts Helm like a fish. "Kill him!" Richter runs from the stairs to the front of the last resort, through the crowd, kicking and hitting 2 miners on his way to a window. He reaches the window and jumps through and escapes. 10 soldiers rush up just as Richter tumbles onto the street. They cover his retreat with a rain of bullets. Richter dashes for cover behind a car. The soldiers exchange fire with the rebels, who snipe at them from inside the last resort. Everett calls to Richter to come to the car and take a call on a videotape. "Richter, call from Kohagen." "This is Richter, sir. I've got them pinned down." "Stop fighting and get out." "They've got Quaid. They're protecting him." "Perfect. Get out of Sector G. Now. Don't think, just do it." "Yes, sir." Kohagen hangs up. Richter just shakes his head. "Pull them out." "Okay, everybody pull out." Quaid, Molina, and Benny arrive at the hub and head towards the tunnel on the far side of the plaza. Down comes a fire door. They rush to the next tunnel. Too late. Now they really pour it on, crouching and rolling and diving under the last door before the whole hub is sealed off. Soldiers finish backing into tunnels that lead to town. Ka-chang, ka-chang, ka-chang. Richter and his group back out last. Venusville is sealed off. The streets are empty and quiet. The rebels from the last resort cautiously come out of hiding and mill about the eerily deserted area. Slowly, gradually, others join them. Madame Fatima and her little girl stand in front of the giant fans. A mechanical shudder startles everyone. The ambient noise level of the area grows markedly quieter. The breeze of the fans stops blowing on Madame Fatima's hair. The fan blades slow down, condensing from a blur of motion into hard metal. They come to a stop. Silence and dread. A circle of light slides into frame in the catacombs, illuminating mummified corpses that lie in niches in the tunnel wall. Darkness. Molina leads Quaid and Benny through a labyrinth of narrow corridors, honeycombed with open tombs. Benny lingers about, examining the dried bodies. "The first settlers are buried here. They worked themselves to death. But Kohagen ended up with all the money. He built cheap domes and watched their kids turn into freaks. I saw them. If you want to breathe, you gotta buy his air. But maybe you can change all that. I think my grandpa might be here. While Benny stops to inspect a mummy, Molina and Quaid proceed alone into the next chamber. What can I do? Kuato is gonna make you remember a few things you knew when you were Hauser. Like what? All sorts of things. You might even remember you loved me. I don't need Kuato for that. Oh, since when? She glances back at him dubiously. Quaid pulls Molina to him and stares into her eyes. Molina, I've been dreaming about you every night, till I couldn't go on with my life. He kisses her passionately, and they keep kissing. Behind them, some of the corpses start to move. Slowly, they slide out of their niches and converge on Quaid and Molina, who are oblivious to the danger. The zombies get closer and closer. Quaid and Molina open their eyes and see the zombies. Freeze! A mutant lieutenant and another rebel walk out through a bank of niches, which is actually a concealed door. Come on, Molina. Kuato's waiting. The zombies pull off their masks, revealing normal rebel fighters with rifles slung behind them. At this point, Benny blithely rounds the corner and catches up. Well, I couldn't find him, but... Oh shit! The rebels point their rifles at Benny, who freezes. Who's this? He helped us get away. Don't worry, I'm on your side. Benny grabs his right arm and twists it off. Underneath his prosthetic limb is a deformed nub with a few vestigial fingers. The mutant lieutenant and others look with sympathy at Benny's handicap. Benny then stretches out his arm. An additional forearm unhinges like a pterodactyl wing. Even the mutant lieutenant is grossed out and convinced. Alright, let's go. The lieutenant leads them through a narrow tunnel into the Situation Room. A large force of armed rebels has assembled in platoons. The mood is very dark. They stare at Quaid. You wait here. To Benny. Follow me. To Quaid and Molina. The lieutenant escorts Quaid and Molina across the room to a table where a commanding officer and several other officers are gathered around a videophone. The commanding officer is George. He communicates with Tony at the last resort. Tony breathes with difficulty, as do the customers, staff, and children in the background. Drill through to Section M. We can't. Kohagen depressurized the tunnels. They're rigged to blow up. George looks over the monitor and sees that Quaid and Molina are being led over to him. Okay, sit tight. Molina's just got here with Quaid. He gasps for breath. I hope he was worth it. So do I. They exchange a solemn look, and then George ends the call. He turns to Molina and manages a faint smile. Glad you made it. You don't look so good. George gets up from his desk. Kohagen sealed up Venusville. He shut off all the air. Quaid and Molina are appalled. You must know something pretty damn important, Quaid. He wants you. Quaid and Molina look at each other mortified. If we don't hand you over, everybody in the sector will be dead by morning. We don't have much choice then, do we? We can't turn him in. That's up to Kuato. Come with me, Quaid. George leads Quaid to a fortified door. As he leads him through the door, the lieutenant immediately closes it behind them. Quaid and George walk into a dark chamber, outfitted as an office with a desk and chairs. Sit down. Where's Kuato? On his way. You heard the rumors about the pyramid mine? Yeah. Kohagen found something weird inside. It's got him scared shitless. What, aliens? You tell me. I don't know. Yes, you do. That's why we brought you here. Kohagen's big secret is buried in that black hole you call a brain, and Kuato is going to dig it out. You're Kuato, right? Wrong. He lets go of his chair. Kuato is a mutant, so don't get upset when you see him. George unbuttons his shirt, revealing a small second head growing from his chest. Kuato's sleeping face is ancient yet infantile, no bigger than a grapefruit. His eyes open. His toothless mouth speaks. Kuato/George holds out their hands. Quaid reluctantly holds them. George closes his eyes and falls into a trance. Kuato stares hypnotically at Quaid. One of his eyes is abnormally large. "What do you want, Mr. Quaid?" "Same as you. To remember." "But why?" "To be myself again." "You are what you do." Kuato stares at Quaid, making sure he understands. "A man is defined by his actions, not his memories. Now take my hands." Quaid can't help looking into Kuato's large eye. His gaze is caught and helped. "Now open your mind to me. Please open your mind. Open your mind." We zoom into Kuato's large eye. Quaid is reflected in the pupil. Zooming in on Quaid's head, eye, pupil, into the darkness. We're now gliding between avenues of square metal towers. From here on, the sequence is a seamless point-of-view journey through Quaid's mental landscape. Footsteps and conversations echo in the distance. Looking down, we see people walking far below on a flimsy bridge that runs between the two towers, over a dark, bottomless abyss. The camera whooshes down the side of the tower, under it, which hangs suspended over a glacier. The tower has no bottom casing. Inside, we see an orderly pattern of large metal rods. We hear vague conversation. "But once it starts, that's it. We can't contain it. The chain reaction could spread to all the turbinium in the crust." Whooshing over and up on the bridge, Kohagen, Richter, and two scientists are walking towards a tower. I say we throw the switch and see what happens. "Don't be an idiot. We're talking meltdown here." Follow the group through a peeled back section of the tower, casing into the interior. Inside the tower, the metal rods which we saw from below. Up close, they are like a forest of tiny sequoias. Meltdown on a planetary scale. Don't you think whoever built this thing thought of that? Who knows what the hell they thought? They weren't human. The camera veers away from the group on its own exploration of the structure. The voices becoming increasingly vague. Maybe it's a trap. Maybe they want meltdown. We're not sure this piece of junk will even work. What is it, 500,000? A million? About 500,000. 500,000 years old! The camera tilts away from the group and looks toward the top of the tower, which rises seemingly forever. Our camera view soars up and up the side of the tower to a ledge at the very top. We swoop over the ledge onto a control room. 5 identical pillbox structures are arranged in a circle in some sort of alien Stonehenge. The camera approaches a round stone altar in the center of the room. Closer. Moving closer, hovering directly above the altar, which has been sculpted with the imprint of a hand. Closer. We track toward the round center of the altar, as if drawn to it. The image starts to vibrate. Low-pitched rumbling fills the soundtrack. The circle of the altar dissolves into a rapid pullback from the iris of Quaid's eye. He snaps awake and sees a mining mole drilling through the stone wall into Kuato's chamber. The vibration and rumbling through the dream continue. Kuato George sits motionless, still in a trance. Quaid shakes him. "Wake up! Snap out of it!" George wakes from his trance and sees the advancing mole. "Shit! Come on!" The mining mole crashes through the wall. Quaid pulls George toward the concealed door. George closes his shirt over Kuato's head. Quaid swings the door open and they run out. "They found us! Everyone out! Molina!" Chaos. Moles are drilling through the stone walls. Entrances for more soldiers. Freedom fighters retreat in all directions. Quaid grabs Molina. The mole backs up to let soldiers into the Situation Room. George, get out! There's an airlock! George runs after them into the tunnel as the lieutenant covers the retreat. Quaid and Molina follow. Come on, Benny, let's go! Benny runs after them into the tunnel. The lieutenant is killed. The group arrives at an airlock. It looks like they might actually get away. They run inside and Quaid closes the door. Put these on, we're going outside. As Quaid starts to put on a spacesuit, he hears gunshots next to him inside the airlock. He sees George's body jerking to the staccato report of gunfire. Benny is the villain in full control of the rifle. Quaid lunges for Benny, but before he can grab him, Benny takes Molina hostage with his gun pointed at her head. Freeze! Quaid and Molina can hardly believe their eyes. Benny breaks into a large smile. Congratulations, Quaid! You led us right to him. Quaid and Molina are devastated. After a moment, Quaid kneels down to examine Kuato/George's lifeless form. How could you do this? You're a mutant. Hey, I got 4 kids to feed. What happened to 5? Ah, shit, you got me. I ain't even married. Now put your fucking hands in the air. As Quaid complies with the order, Benny edges over and vigorously kicks open the bolt on the airlock door. He's not the geek he seemed to be. Richter and soldiers are approaching in the tunnel and enter the airlock. Kuato, barely alive, gags out a word. Quaid! Quaid! Quaid leans closer as Richter and soldiers come to a stop. Forget it, bro. His fortune-telling days are over. Kuato grabs Quaid's collar and pulls him nearer. Start the reactor. Free Mars. A burst of gunfire finishes off Kuato. Quaid spins around angrily and finds a rifle pointed in his face. Richter stands at the airlock door holding a gun. He wants to pull the trigger real bad. Mr. Kohagen would like to talk to you. A sheet lies over a body in Kohagen's office. So this is the great man. A hand pulls down the sheet, revealing George/Kuato's dead body on a conference table. Kohagen grimaces as he looks at the mutant. No wonder they kept him out of sight. Richter, Benny, and several security police stand guard over Quaid and Molina, who are securely shackled. Outside the picture windows, the city lights twinkle under a threatening violet sky. Various scenes of suffocation in Venusville play on a bank of TV monitors. Kohagen turns away and recovers his ebullient mood as he comes over to Quaid and claps him on the shoulder. Well, my boy, you're a hero. Fuck you. Don't be modest. Kuato's dead. The resistance has been completely wiped out, and you were the key to the whole thing. Molina's face hardens. He's lying. You two-faced bastard. She spits at Quaid. Kohagen pulls out his handkerchief and daubs away the saliva. You can't blame him, Angel. He's innocent. That's the beauty of it. Kohagen enjoys Molina and Quaid's confusion. You see, Quaid, none of my people could get close to Kuato. The fucking mutants would always sniff us out. So Hauser and I sat down and invented you. The perfect mole. He's lying. Hauser turned against you. That's what we wanted you to think. The fact is, Hauser volunteered to become Quaid. It was the only way to fool the psychics. Get your story straight, pointing to Richter. This idiot's been trying to kill me since I went to recall. You don't kill somebody you're trying to plant. He wasn't in on it. You set him off by going to recall. So why am I still alive? We gave you lots of help. Benny here. My pleasure, man. Benny holds up his artificial limbs, revealing a blinking homing device. The guy with the suitcase, the mask, the money, the messenger form Hauser, All of that was set up by us. Sorry, too perfect. Perfect my ass. You pop your memory cap before we can activate you. And then Richter goes all hog wild, screwing up everything I spent a year planning. Frankly, I'm amazed it worked. Quaid shakes his head, as if impressed. Well, Kohagen, I have to hand it to you. This is the best mindfuck yet. Don't take my word for it, Quaid. Someone you trust wants to talk to you. Who is it this time, my mother? Kohagen turns on hollow vision. Hauser appears on the screen in the same clothes and setting as in the previous disc message. Howdy, Quaid. If you're listening to this, that means Kuato is dead, and you led us to him. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Sorry for all the shit I put you through. But hey, what are friends for? Quaid's last wall of resistance crumbles. I'd like to wish you happiness and long life, old buddy, but unfortunately, that's not gonna happen. You see, that's my body you've got there, and well, I want it back. Quaid is chilled. Sorry to be an Indian giver, but I was here first, so adios, amigos. Thanks for not getting yourself killed. Kohagen steps into frame behind Hauser and lays a hand on his shoulder. Together they smile and wave goodbye to Quaid. Maybe we'll meet in our dreams. You never know. The video disc message ends. Kohagen beams, proud of himself. Quaid, in shock, looks at Molina. Quaid and Molina are brought into the implant lab and strapped into chairs that make recall seem amateurish. Kohagen and Richter watch with glee as a doctor and 6 assistants prepare for the reprogramming operation. Molina already has an IV drip in the back of her hand. Quaid bucks and struggles as a technician inserts the needle into his hand. Ready to go, sir. Relax, Quaid. You'll like being Hauser. The guy's a fucking asshole. Not true. He's one of my best friends. He's got a big house and Mercedes. You like Molina, right? Well, you'll get to fuck her every night. That's right, she's gonna be Hauser's babe. I'll kill him first. Princess. We're having you fixed. You'll be respectful, compliant, appreciative, just the way a woman should be. Molina spits at Kohagen. Bastard. Quaid struggles angrily against his shackles. A call comes in on the phone. Get me Mr. Kohagen. Mr. Kohagen, for you. Kohagen turns impatiently to the videophone screen where a nervous technician stands at an air pumping station in front of the wall of dials and gauges. What is it? Sir, the oxygen level is bottoming out in Sector G. What do you want me to do about it? As if obvious. Don't do anything. They can't last an hour, sir. Kohagen presses a button on the videophone and switches. 3 quick views of people suffocating in Venusville. He switches back to the video call. Fuck 'em. It'll be a lesson to the others. He hangs up. Come on, Kohagen. You got what you wanted. Give these people air. My friend, 5 minutes from now, you won't give a shit about the people. Fire it up, Doc. The doctor turns on the machine when it starts to whine. Kohagen heads for the door and signals to Richter. Excuse me, Doctor. You mean he's not going to remember any of this? Not a thing. I see. Richter thinks for a moment, and then wham! He slugs Quaid square in the face. Kohagen turns around at the door and sees 2 men staring hatefully at each other. Quaid, I'm going to have a little party tonight. Why don't you and Molina drop by, say around 9ish? You'll remind him, Doc? Preoccupied by his work, the doctor answers absently. Sure. See you at the party. Kohagen and Richter leave the lab, mightily amused. The whining noise now becomes truly terrifying. Quaid and Molina concentrate to fight the effects of the reprogramming. Keep still. Fighting just makes it hurt. Quaid bucks against the helmet and 4 sets of metal brackets which bind his arms and legs. If you don't keep still, you'll end up psychotic. Quaid thrashes about in his chair. The screws holding the chair together start to loosen. In adrenaline overdrive, Quaid rips the right armrest from the chair. It hangs from his forearm like an unwieldy splint. One of the 5 handicaps is gone. The doctor rushes over. Quaid swings the armrest and drives a long exposed bolt through the doctor's throat. The assistant grabs Quaid's forearm. Quaid curls him into a one-armed hug and snaps his neck. Quaid lifts the helmet from his head. 2 of 5 handicaps are gone. Assistant 2 grabs his wrist. Quaid grabs his hair and pulls him forward over his shoulder. His head lands between Quaid's knees. Quaid cracks his skull like a walnut. Quaid reaches over and releases the bracket over his left wrist. 2 remain, 3 handicaps are down. But assistants 3 to 5 converge on him, holding down his arms. Quaid sees that Molina is still fighting her brainwashing. "Hold on!" Assistant 6 charges with a long metal pole. Quaid pulls number 5 in front of him like a shield. Number 5 is skewered. Quaid flings him aside, reaches down, unshackles his one ankle, and immediately kicks number 3 in the balls. Quaid stands up with only one leg still shackled. Number 6 and number 4 bait Quaid like a bear, using the pole and a fire axe. Quaid grabs the pole from number 6 and uses it to block the axe. He then bends to unfasten the last ankle bracelet. The fire axe comes arching down at him. Quaid leaps clear just as the axe lodges in the chair. Now free and unhandicapped, Quaid faces number 6. He sidesteps a thrust, grabs the pole, and thrusts it into his head. It goes in one temple and out the other. Immediately, Quaid pulls off Molina's helmet. The Axeman activates an alarm and makes a run for the door. Quaid swings the pole, tripping 4 so that he lands directly on his nose. As alarms scream, Quaid runs to Molina and begins releasing her from her many shackles. "Are you all right? Are you still you?" "I'm not sure, dear. What do you think?" Quaid is aghast. Molina kisses him. "Let's get the hell out of here." Relieved, Quaid flips the last buckle. Molina steps out of his chair. Quaid grabs the axe and they run. Alarms blare. Quaid and Molina run through the hallway for the elevators. Quaid goes to the right, Molina to the left. Quaid throws the axe to Molina. The elevator doors open. 2 soldiers are inside and start to exit. Quaid hits the first soldier on the right, knocking him down and out. Molina axes the second soldier on the left in the stomach, and he goes down. They run into the elevator after taking the guns from them. As the doors close, they are taking a flashlight off the back wall. The lamps! Back to camera. Kohagen stands in front of a wall of glass and stares out at the city and landscape, bathed in dark purple light. The horizon is pink, signaling the approach of dawn. The alarms wail in the background, muffled but insistent. "Well, sir?" Kohagen thinks for a moment, and then answers flatly without turning around. "Kill him. It's about goddamn time." Richter dashes out. Kohagen looks at his pet goldfish swimming harmlessly in its bowl. He peevishly sweeps the bowl off its stand. It falls to the floor and smashes to bits. The goldfish flounders desperately, unable to breathe. The elevator doors open. Quaid and Molina, holding flashlights, run out in opposite directions. "Where are you going?" "The reactor." "What reactor?" "The one in the mine." "People are dying, Quaid. Stop. We've got to get air." Quaid snaps her to him and grips her shoulders. "The reactor makes air. That's Kohagen's secret." Quaid lets go of Molina. "Now come on." They start running. The passage is strewn with tools, drill hammers, and other equipment, which lie on the ground. As if abandoned in a panic, Molina is still perplexed. "Where does this reactor come from?" "Aliens built it." "Aliens? You sure about this?" "It's just up ahead." Quaid's flashlight reveals that the tunnel abruptly comes to a dead end just up ahead. He is dumbfounded. "Wow." Quaid and Molina are bathed in the bright light of a mole, which rumbles past the intersecting tunnel, blocking any possibility of escape. Its 7-foot diameter central drill spins at full speed. Quaid and Molina back away, firing. Benny gleefully directs the mole from a cabin at the rear. He steers with the aid of several video monitors. One of them shows Quaid and Molina fleeing, just ahead of the tip of the drill. Quaid and Molina run out of ammunition. Quaid throws his gun aside. He sees a drill hammer lying on the ground and grabs it. "Hey, Quaid, remember me? Benny. Benny is the name. I'm gonna get you, sucker. You ain't going nowhere." Benny guns the central drill. Vroom, vroom. In the tunnel, Quaid and Molina hear Benny's amplified voice from inside the mole. "Go ahead, hurt me. Give it your best shot. Give it to me. I can take it. Fuck. Shit. Fuck, goddamn it." Quaid attacks the mole with the drill. Quaid's arms and shoulders are lacerated by both sides of the drills. In the final daring thrust, Quaid drives the drill hammer into the cable. Black hydraulic fluid gushes all over Quaid, and the central drill grinds to a halt. The tip of the drill chews into the stone wall. Molina is trapped in the small recess to the right. Quaid is pinned to a slightly larger cul-de-sac to the left. "Hey Quaid, you're gonna bite the big one. Eat me. Hey Molina, how does it feel? I'm coming, baby. I'm coming for you." Benny throws a fit inside the mole and jams it into reverse. "What the fuck? Goddamn son of a bitch, piece of Martian junk. I'll back up. I'll crush you, Quaid. I'm gonna squish you." Molina checks out the hole in the wall made by the mole. As the mole backs up, Quaid slips under the retracting side drill, squeezes between the mole and the sidewall of the tunnel, and sidles his way to the back of the machine. Benny shifts into drive and checks his monitors. There's Molina, but where is Quaid? "Quaid, where are you? Where the fuck are you?" Quaid arrives at the back of the mole, jumps into a running board at the side of the cabin, and starts drilling. "Benny, screw you!" Inside the mole, Benny is disturbed by a curious high-pitched whine that cuts through the roaring and grinding. The drill penetrates the door of the cabin and bores into Benny's chest. The spinning tip of the drill emerges from his back. Quaid pulls the drill back out and drops it. "Quaid, get over here!" Quaid runs over and joins her at the wall. She points into the cone. "There's an opening." An open hole is in the stone wall. Quaid looks through it. A dimly lighted object is visible in the distance. "I knew it!" Quaid climbs through the hole, followed by Molina. He gets his first look at the alien reactor. Quaid moves through the hole and continues down a tunnel, which quickly widens, affording a panoramic view of a great wonder. The alien reactor, glimpsed in Quaid's mind probe. Hundreds of geometric columns, suspended in graceful draping pattern, like metal stalactites in a vast mechanical cavern built by giants. The titanic construction is organized into 4 groups, which radiate from a central core. Quaid stares with wonder and awe. Molina appears next to him, even more impressed. They look up at the alien reactor. The column extends, seemingly forever, into the dark recesses of the hollowed-out mountain. It's one big reactor made out of turbinium. Quaid and Molina are standing at the edge of a steep cliff, next to the footing of a flimsy bridge of human design. The bridge stretches from the cave wall over an abyss to the core of the reactor. Kohagen knows it makes air, but the bastard won't turn it on. Of course not. If Mars had an atmosphere, he would lose control. Quaid starts climbing the footing toward the bridge some 18 feet above. Molina follows him up the girders. "You stay down there. It's a glacier." They are precariously balanced over a seemingly bottomless abyss. The whole core of Mars is ice. The reactor melts it and releases oxygen. Enough for everybody to breathe? Quaid pulls himself onto the bridge and then reaches down and lifts Molina. Plenty. Standing on the walkway, they look up at the gargantuan reactor which looms ahead like Valhalla at the end of the Asgard bridge. If we turn it on in time. They start walking toward the reactor. We pan down from the pink sky as seen through the dome to the streets of Venusville, lined with suffocating people who have gathered to face the end together. Madame Fatima and her daughter wait for the others. Tony, the bartender, Thumbelina, and others lie prostrate on the floor, gasping for breath. The goldfish flounders on the floor amongst the broken glass, unable to breathe. Quaid and Molina head down a walkway which is bordered by an avenue of spectacular floating towers. Richter gives the get-ready signal to 30 soldiers who lie in wait to ambush Quaid and Molina as soon as they come inside. Come on, let's go. The soldiers spread out among the huge metal sequoias that extend through the floor like pegs through a pegboard. Quaid and Molina approach the opening in the tower as seen in Quaid's mind probe. Quaid signals Molina to stay back. He steps forward. Richter's people stare at the opening, waiting for Quaid to enter. He steps into view. Richter's soldiers reveal themselves. Richter and his men open fire. Quaid collapses. They step forward in a tightening circle, emptying thousands of rounds into his body. He reacts to the shots and goes down to his knees. He laughs and starts to walk away. Son of a bitch, he's got a hologram. Spread out. Quaid walks into one of the columns and disappears. The real Quaid appears and mows down a lot of soldiers with gunfire. Molina joins in and shoots at the soldiers. When they split up, Quaid runs one way and Molina the other. Quaid kills 2 soldiers as he runs into the columns. Quaid and his hologram appear at the other side of a column. Quaid moves along the column and runs into 3 soldiers. He starts laughing. You think this is the real Quaid? Well, it is. He then shoots them down and runs off. Molina and Quaid come together at one of the columns, cross each other, and then go separate ways. She now has the hologram watch. Molina runs to another column, peeks around, gets shot at, and then goes to the other side of the column. A soldier here and a soldier there see her walking. They both open fire. The bullets pass through Molina, and they shoot at each other. Quaid and Molina meet up. Molina throws the hologram watch back to him. He takes the watch and runs up the middle row of columns. Richter runs across in front of him and fires and misses. 2 soldiers pop out behind him and Molina kills them. Quaid continues after Richter. Richter sprints onto an open freight elevator at the far end of the area. The elevator starts to rise. Quaid jumps onto the elevator and drags Richter to the floor. Molina runs over too late and watches the elevator ascend at incredible speed, with Quaid hanging below. Richter and Quaid wrestle savagely on the floor, trying to force each other over the side. Richter lodges his foot in a hole in the floor and shoves Quaid's head over the edge. Quaid looks up. The elevator is approaching a hole Kohagen cut in the metal shell, which encloses the bunch of columns. The hole is exactly big enough for the elevator to pass through. Anything extended beyond the boundaries of the elevator will be sliced off. Quaid summons all his strength and throws Richter and himself back into the elevator with a nanosecond to spare. As the elevator passes through the hole cut in the metal, a sharp edge guillotines Richter's rifle in half. Nasty. The elevator emerges in a narrow space between 2 concentric curved walls. The adversaries exchange blows. Richter knocks Quaid down and then rushes at him. Quaid flips Richter over the side, but Richter grabs Quaid's wrist and drags Quaid with him. Quaid's foot catches a crater in the floor and halts their mutual slide to death. He hangs over the side, bent at the waist, supporting Richter, who dangles from his wrists. Quaid struggles to pull himself back inside, but Richter bounces up and down, pulling Quaid further out. "You're going with me!" The elevator rapidly approaches another guillotine hole cut in the metal platform. Richter pulls at Quaid. Quaid slips. He gropes for another foothold. The metal edges are about to cut him in half. Quaid's searching foot finds a hole. He pulls back. The metal edges sweep by. "Ah!" A cry of pain. The elevator comes to a halt. Quaid lies on the floor, intact. Still gripping his wrists are Richter's severed hands. "See you at the party." Richter falls to his death, screaming. Quaid walks to the other side of the elevator and rides up amid the columns. Quaid walks out of the elevator onto a platform and finds himself in the control room from Kuato's mind probe. The elevator closes behind him and descends. Quaid walks towards the round altar in the center of the room. At the center of the altar is the emblem of an open hand. Quaid reaches out for the mythic symbol. A light hits him and stops his hand. He looks up and sees Kohagen step into the light, holding a gun. "Don't touch that! Get away! Get back!" Kohagen signals Quaid away from the altar. He backs off. "What are you afraid of? Turn it on." "Impossible. Once the reaction starts, it'll spread to all the turbinium in the planet. Mars will go into global meltdown. That's why the aliens never turned it on." "Do you expect me to believe you?" "Who gives a shit what you believe? In 30 seconds you'll be dead, and then I'll blow this place up." Kohagen shows Quaid a detonator in his left hand, and points with his gun to an explosive charge near the altar. "And be home in time for cornflakes." Quaid makes a sudden move toward the emblem. Bang! Kohagen shoots and hits the altar near Quaid. Quaid freezes. "I didn't want it to end this way. I wanted Hauser back. But no, you had to be Quaid." "I am Quaid." "You're nothing. You're nobody. You're a stupid dream." Well, all dreams come to an end. The trigger of the gun is squeezed. The sound of gunshots. Kohagen is blown to the floor, hit in the shoulder and arm. He drops his gun and the detonator. Molina stands by the elevator. Kohagen reaches for the detonator. Quaid runs to the explosive charge, grabs it, and throws it, while Molina runs to Kohagen. Kohagen activates the detonator. The charge sails out of the control room and explodes near the surrounding metal wall. Molina falls back from the blast of the bomb. Instant tornado. Quaid, Molina, and Kohagen are all sucked toward the hole. Kohagen gets a grip on the altar. Molina grabs at the edge of the platform, but gets sucked toward the altar. Molina gets sucked around the altar and grips a light stand that is wedged into the altar. Sucked through the air toward the hole, Quaid desperately snatches a length of cable. His flight jerks to a stop. Anchored, Quaid makes the Herculean effort to climb up the cable against the powerful wind. Kohagen screams to be heard. "Don't do it! They'll die! Everybody will die!" Quaid pulls himself to the edge of the altar. He grabs Kohagen's arm and yanks him off. "You first." Caught by the suction, Kohagen goes flying toward the hole in the wall, where he disappears. Kohagen rockets out of the hole into the side of the mountain. He drops onto a sandy slope. His breath is sucked from his lungs, and he starts to decompress. Quaid summons all his strength and reaches for the emblem. He fits his hand into the alien imprint. The sphere glows and descends into the altar. An awesome, low-pitched rumble shakes the control room. Quaid can't hold on any longer and gets sucked out the hole, followed immediately by Molina. The light streams out of the hole, where the sphere descends. Dozens of gleaming turbinium columns drop from their sheaths. Richter is splattered. His handless body lies on the ice. Rods descend into the peg holes all around him. The rods glow red and ice melts around them. Chunks of ice and debris are sucked up in the vacuum. Kohagen's eyes rupture and his brain sprouts through his ears. The whole melting glacier glows red from the incandescence of the rods. Water boils around the rods, releasing a storm of steam. Richter's body bobs on an ice floe. The room is now filled with a tornado of steam. More shit is disgorged. Richter. The glacier is now a rolling lake-sized jacuzzi. It glows blue. Steam erupts from the surface like an inverted waterfall. Quaid and Molina drop to the side of the volcano. The air is drawn out of their lungs and they gasp for breath. Steam builds up under enormous pressure. The walls start to crack. Boom! The top of the mountain blows off under the enormous pressure of the steam. The dome above the Hilton Hotel shatters and crashes down. The people collapse in agony of instant depressurization. Quaid and Molina are agonizing when they are hit by a blast of steam and air. Geysers of steam sprout around them. Moments from death, the rebels hear the explosion and feel the effects of depressurization. Panorama. A mammoth geyser of steam and gas sprays out of the pinnacle of the pyramid mine like a white volcano. The spray forms a white cloud directly over the mountains. Quaid and Molina's eyes bulge. They reach out for each other. They find each other's hands and hold tight, preparing to die together. They look up and see a vision of heaven. The sky is blue. The white clouds engulf them. They can breathe. They stand and walk toward the blue sky. Gasping for breath, the rebels find air. They can breathe. Everybody can breathe, including Madame Fatima and her daughter with the rebels. A panoramic shot shows the cloud expanding in all directions. Blue sky drives out the red. Quaid and Molina stand on the side of the mountain and hold each other. They see the cloud spread over the city. They behold what they have wrought. People stand and look through the shattered dome framework at the new blue sky. Madame Fatima, her daughter, the others look up to the blue sky seen through the dome windows. We see various shots of blue sky over Mars. Quaid and Molina walk hand in hand up the slope, gazing in awe at the billowing clouds in the new blue sky. Quaid, I can't believe it. It's like a dream. On hearing her words, Quaid's expression turns grim and confused. I just had a terrible thought. What if this is all just a dream? Then kiss me quick before you wake up. Molina offers her lips. Quaid takes her in his arms, and they kiss. The end. And that is Total Recall from 1990, the complete script. I really enjoyed reading this one. I chose not to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice because, well, it's not really part of the script, to be honest, and even though it adds a lot in the movie version, I think the script benefited from me not trying to do his sometimes funny, but most of the time endearing accent. As always, leave a comment to let me know that you made it all the way to the end, and drop what you would like to be the next movie reading down